Hello everyone, my name is Bruno Capuano. I live in Canada. I am not from Canada. I will tell you my story later. I work in Avanade. I lead innovation in Avanade, Canada. And I've been an MVP for the last couple of years. And it's a pleasure with you today talking about a topic which I really like, which is basically share my experience in IT and let you know a couple of my Latin history, moving all around the world, working here. So it's a pleasure to be here, and let's start with the main content. And my main content is the name of the session is diversity is much more. We always talk about diversity around a couple of things. You notice my accent is much more, and today I want to share a couple of experiences around this. So, and by the way, I am probably one of the few Latin people who can't dance. So sorry about that. You're not going to see me live dancing or even in the camera dancing. I've done this session a couple of times. The first time was in Ignite 2019 in Orlando, Florida, and then I tweaked this and I add and remove some stories here. It's a small and fast track. It's not a very long session, but I always start saying, hey, sorry about this. There is a lot of crap animation. Sorry for the bad jokes. I don't do demos here. I do puns. But hey, let me show you what we can do. Let me tell my story. And in order to understand my story, let me start from the beginning. So, as I told you, I live in Canada right now, but of course I am not a Canadian. My accent let you know that I'm not a Canadian. And I was born and raised in Cordoba, Argentina. Cordoba, Argentina, a small town city in Argentina, in the south of South America. So this was 40 years ago, and hey, I didn't even think at the beginning to work in IT. Then it was a late call. I don't have this story of people basically, hey, I started with my computer when I was very young. I started with IT in my late 20s, and it was a nice ride because I really feel that I can work there. I was always a programmer. I like to be a developer. I like to code. I liked a lot of things. And as part of this path, I realized that, hey, I can do a lot of things. And when I get married with my wife, she also works in IT, we decided to move to Spain. I have my brother living there, so we did the first big change, which is basically move from South America to Europe. And we started to work in Spain. The main idea was to live in Spain for a couple of years, then the couple of years become 11 years, 2 kids, great, love it. Spain is the best country in the world to live. I have a lot of friends there. And then 4.5 years ago, we moved to Canada. We decided that we may want to try something new, and Canada seems to be a good option. And as I said, it was really nice. It was a great chance to move to a different place, to learn a new culture. The kids were not so old, so it was also a good age to introduce them to a new culture. And we decided to make a big change, which is, hey, let's go to Canada. Let's try to work in a non-Spanish environment. And before moving here, the last couple of years living in Madrid, I was working all around Europe. So I started to see that, hey, maybe it's nice to have this new culture. It's nice to have all of these new people working with you and giving you different feedback. So that's why we decided to, okay, let's pick a place like Canada and move to Canada. And when I started to figure out the story, when I started to figure out how to tell this, I have this idea. You can see me there with the guitar or with my brother playing piano. I have this idea to share my story from the beginning, to share everything about myself and the full story about this. And my wife said, wait, there is something else here. You have a good life, but maybe you need to do this in a different way. And then I reminded, I've been with my wife for almost 20 years, so something like this. And we've been together for all of this time. It's an amazing ride. And I still remember the first time that we moved together, that we went to an apartment back in Argentina, and we have this toilet paper conversation. We started to talk about how is the good and the bad way to use the toilet paper. And because I'm a very visual guy, I'm a very practical person, I choose and I really believe that the way to use this is the one in the left, the right good, and she chose the other one. So we started to talk about this. So I started to explain to her why my idea of the toilet paper in the right way, remember the left one is the good one, and why her option is not so very good. I even start to create and put some diagrams here with a couple of blueprints. When you are sitting there and you take a look, this is you have a better line of sight to how many paper you have, and yada yada yada. So I make a whole case around this, and she basically listened to me, looked at me, she said, yes, that's fine, yes, that's fine, yes, that's fine, you, okay, move on, okay, make your case. I started to talk, I started to share, I started to talk, I started to share, and then we get to a point that it was before we have kids, but we have cats. So when I stopped talking, my wife get out of the bathroom, outside, pick up one of our cats, the first cat I think that we had together, move the cat in the bathroom, and 2 seconds later my left option was basically invalid with the cat, and she make her point, and that was the moment that I understand that my wife is never wrong. I can't remember who said this, but hey, I know that at any moment on time she is going to be right again. So okay, you're right. If she comes here and told me that I need to make this speech different, let's do this different. I don't want to share my story, I want to share what I learned about this. And what I learned talking about diversity is that usually diversity is focused in these 3 main pillars: sexual orientation, religion, and age, which is great. I mean, this makes a lot of sense. This is something that we need to talk, we need to fix, we need to talk about this to fix problems around this. But when I see only these 3 topics, I started to think on a triangle, and when I think of a triangle, the first image that came to my head is Egypt, and the pyramids, or also a Dorito. And if you start to think about triangle, you're going to get a point that... You get the point here. I don't need to move on. You get the point. As I said at the beginning, sorry for the pun, sorry for the bad joke, but the main idea here is that let's stop the crap. There is not just 3 topics to work. If you are going to talk about diversity and inclusion, you need to forget about just these 3. You need to talk about education, you talk about family values, you need to talk about a lot of things which are the ones that basically is going to define a person, is going to want to define a group of people. And this is the stuff that you need to do in order to help and support these other activities. And this is one of the first things that I really, really think that we make this wrong, because I think that, in example, if we pick up an event, the same event, but all around the globe in different locations, you are going to see how each one of these locations add their local flavor, and they make this very, very special. So I think this was also 2 years ago, we were invited, I was invited, I went to my family to the Caribbean Developer Conference, which is a technical event in Punta Cana, in an amazing place in the Caribbean, and it's a typical technical event. You have a couple of track sessions, you have people talking there. The year that we went, there was a huge also Microsoft presence. Scott Hanselman was there. It was a lot of very amazing people also there, and it was great. But it was the Caribbean Developer Conference. There was a huge Latin flavor there, and you can take a look at this Latin flavor there when you see how they managed to pick up the typical activity that you are doing in a big event, but with the Latin flavor. And I am not talking like this in this photo to go in to have some drinks to the beach. But the idea here was, after you finish your days with sessions, this was a 2 days full, or 3, I can't remember, 3-day session all day, you can go to the beach and you are going to have the chance to talk with the speakers there, and to have a drink and to chat with them one-to-one, and to have this, we the Latin people, we like to talk, look in our faces, we like to use our words, I know people get uncomfortable with this, but this is the way that we were grown, using our hands, talking, getting very close, getting very passionate. Going to the Caribbean Developer Conference, that's the flavor that you have there. You can go to the beach and you can start to talk. And by the way, when I say have a couple of drinks, I don't drink alcohol. So it doesn't mean that you need to go there and have a beer or whatever. I went there, I have a soda, I have a water or whatever, and I was talking with this set of very cool and very smart, very passionate people, and I have a great time. But this is something that you will find an example if you are in a Latin environment, because this is what we are having as Latin. And I know, maybe you like or maybe you don't like this. This is optional and you can take a look. But this is the type of thing that you need to think, that you're going to go to a place where you are going to find people who are basically living and sharing different ways of doing stuff. And it's very important to understand why they're doing this. And hey, maybe giving a chance. I always think that you need to give this or that a chance in order to learn how you can do this. The second main topic, and remember, this is not a very long talk, this is just focus on sharing my experience, is living with an accent. This is myself talking right now. This is myself talking in English, speaking in English with a very strong, I know, Spanish accent. I was born in Argentina, speaking Spanish. I moved to Spain, speak Spanish. I've been speaking Spanish all the time in my life. My kids here in Canada, they come here with 8 and 6 years old, speaking Spanish. 4 years later, they almost forgot Spanish. They speak, of course, English all the time. They are learning French. We are all learning French. But still, I know that I'm going to have this accent all my life. And I need to choose what to do, because there are people who basically struggle with an accent. And if you don't have an accent, if you don't speak a second language and you can't think of how is live with an accent when you are speaking another language, think about flying in a plane. And I know, crazy days, COVID days, we are not flying in a plane anymore, but help me with this, move this with me, and think about flying in a plane. Think about that you have first class, business class, you have coach, economy or whatever, but you know first class or business class. Amazing places, very comfortable. And when you have an accent, basically what you see is this. You see first class from the back. You see first class from the back and you are sitting in coach and you see that everything is amazing. You see that the people are having this amazing food, everything smells great, everything is... You have this view from there where everybody's happy, you have the flight attendants giving you nice food, nice drinks. It's great, but at a specific moment, someone comes and closes the curtain and you are out of there. And what you are going to find is a guy doing something like this. You've probably seen this, but this is a popular video. You find a guy who basically decided to use the touch screen with their foot because they decided that this is what you are going to do in first class. I'm sorry, in coach. You are never going to be there. You're never going to be in first class. You're going to always need to deal with something like this. You're going to always need to find that the people in front of you are going to have a car and then a dog, I'm sorry, and you're going to fight the... You are never going to fly in first class, and you need to learn how to live with this. And I accepted that I'm going to have an accent long time ago. I am fine with this. I know that this is the way that I talk, this is the way that I share and communicate, so that's fine. But I also find some scenarios when I was speaking someone, I was declining to go to some specific meetings or reunions or even because of this accent. In other places they decided, hey, you know what, we like your accent, it's kind of funny, come here, or it's kind of nice, come here, share with that. You need to live with this. What I am doing is at the same time, I know that I have this, but I also notice when I speak with my French Canadian colleagues that they speak English with a lot of with the French accents, or I have colleagues from India who comes here, they also have strong accents, or my Italian colleagues. Everybody speaking in a non-native language have an accent. So you need to be open. What I learned is you need to be open. You need to basically help everybody to feel comfortable and learn how the best way. I mean, please, if you don't understand, don't get mad. Ask again. Ask someone if they can repeat, or put yourself in the other shoes and see what you can do. There are plenty of ways to do this. And for us, non-speakers with an accent, it's a double. It's not easy to think in another language and share an idea. I always struggle to see how we are going to do this. I practice my sessions a lot in English. In Spanish, it's kind of natural speaking. In English I practice because I need to double check how do I pronounce this, how do I pronounce that. Lucky for us, right now we have tools like in PowerPoint, where we have the PowerPoint rehearsal, that help us to become much more better speakers. But if you don't want to do this, what we can do? Hey, you are going to live with people. I don't know, here in Canada there is a lot of foreign people. We have a lot of immigrants here. I am an immigrant here in Canada. My kids help me with my language, and I know that I'm going to have an accent, and I understand other people have accents. I am very happy, and I always say thanks for the people who are helping me here, but this is what we have, and we need to struggle with this every day. So it's also nice to understand that you don't choose to have an accent, you can work on that, but this is what you are. And the last point, and the last bullet here is to understand who you are. Who are you? Who am I? This is Bruno. This is myself in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a couple of years ago, practicing public speaking, just making fun for a photo. But when people ask me about who I am, I always say, I was born in Argentina, I live in Spain, I live in Canada now, so this is Argentinian, Spaniard, Canadian person. What is happening there? Come here to Canada and go to see a monster truck because with my son it was a great time there. But usually what I found is that a lot of people, the first time that you share who you are, they have this idea, they have the first impulse that they have is to put you in a box. So an example, when I talk about I live in Spain, everybody go back there and say, oh, so you probably like bullfighting, or you probably like paella, or you know how to dance a flamenco or something like this, because this is the Spanish. This is the typical Spanish knowledge that the people have all around the globe, which is great, which is fine. I mean, it's not bad to have this idea that in Spain everybody likes the bullfighting, everybody likes paella. I like paella, but I don't like bullfighting. So this is a different type of ways. But what is important here is that I understand, and I always advise people that once you meet someone, if they share something about them, you are going to have this first impulse to put them in a box. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. What is important there is once you've done that, once you think, okay, Bruno lived in Spain, so we probably like A, B, or C, also give some time to the other side to explain, to elaborate this idea, to grow from there, to see what else they have there, because they probably come from Spain, but I lived in Spain 11 years, I understand that Spain is huge. It's a 40 million people country, and they have tons of different towns with different cultures, with different tastes and different food and different music, and everybody will share something from there. So it's not just Spain. Learn about this. If you meet someone from other places, if you meet someone with different culture, different degrees or whatever, don't go into this, I will box you, I will put you in a box, and you are going to be just like this because you come from there. Try to think, try to share, try to open your mind to see what else they can share to learn with you. And this is also very useful, not only when I talk about this, and this is kind of the personal talk, it's not the professional one, but when I talk about this with companies, I always say, hey, if you have people with different backgrounds and different skills, and somehow at the beginning, you basically make a team based on the boxes because you are making a diverse teams to have different skills, but there will be a moment that all of these skills are going to basically diffuse between all there, and you're going to have something new which is amazing. So putting people in boxes, because you are having these ideas about where they come, where they study, what language they speak or whatever, is not bad, but also is a nice first step to try to see what else they can do. How they can grow together, what is the best way to mix this, and this is kind of amazing. And we are getting into the end. I will promise myself that we're going to have here not a very long session for this one. We are at the end. So the recap for this session is try to be respectful with each other. Don't go for the big ones. It's basically common sense. Try to be a nice person, be respectful. Understand that people will have accent, understand that people will come from different places, will have different backgrounds. That is not just about gender. or religion or skin colors or whatever. There are plenty of things that you can do. So this is kind of my recap idea for you. This is kind of what I want to share with you. And in the live session, this is the moment where I supposed to stand up and dance, because as I said at the beginning, I can't dance. I am a Latino who can't dance. And it's not easy when you have all your life, all your friends, when you have a party or when you basically start to have a dinner with a couple of friends, there is a moment that you have music and everybody's dancing, and I can't dance. I really can't dance. But I am lucky enough that it seems that it's first generation. My daughter, she's an amazing dancer. She was very small here, but she was doing flamenco, hole stuff when we were back in Spain. So hey, lucky me, she is the one who will carry the dance task or whatever here at home, and I am happy about this. So that's it for myself. You can find me here in Twitter in @elbruno or in my blog in elbruno.com. And as I said at the beginning, it's a pleasure. Really appreciate that you spend this 20 minutes with myself, and Happy New Year. Let's keep rocking this crazy year that we are living today, and I hope that everybody's having a really good time. Goodbye, everyone.